Diode is a fundamental semiconductor device you must understand if you want to develop skills in electronics. The diode is generally the first nonlinear device one learns about. It conducts electricity in only one direction when voltage is applied to its two terminals. This unidirectional property was first exploited in AM radios as modulation circuits for mixing up signal with the carrier signal, and also in demodulated circuits for extracting the signal from carrier wave. Diodes have since become ubiquitous, used in many electronic systems that may be found in home, industrial equipment, automotive, audio systems, and many more. A significant application of diode is to convert AC power to DC power. This conversion is critical for all sort of household electronic gadgets like cell phones, laptops, TVs, musical systems, which needs a low voltage DC signals of 3.3 volt, 5 volt, 12 volt from the wall outlets of 230 volt AC signals. Diodes can be used to protect sensitive or important components of electronic circuits from sudden spikes of voltage or electric shocks due to these spikes. You can see that the spikes are either limited or it is being clipped off completely. Light emitting diodes or LED flashlights are used to light our home. In contrast, photodiodes are sensors which converts light energy into an electric current like solar cells. This is just tip of the iceberg when it comes to diodes. Diodes have wide range of uses featured from small signal digital logic to high voltage power conversion circuits. To summarize, diodes are used as rectifiers, signal modulators, demodulators, signal mixers, voltage regulators, as light emitting diodes, in circuit protection, wave shaping circuits like limiters or clippers, and as clampers. One of the important application of diode is in the conversion of AC signals into a DC signal circuits called rectifiers. A rectifier forms an essential building block of the DC power supply circuit as shown in the block diagram. The supply voltage from mains is 230 volt RMS 50 Hz AC signal. Depending on the required DC output voltage at the load, an appropriate transformer is selected so that AC mains voltage can be stepped down to a lower value. In addition to this, transformer also provides electrical isolation between the electronic circuit and the power line circuit minimizing the risk of electric shock. Diode rectifier converts an input sine wave to an unipolar output of pulsating nature. This pulsating nature is not suitable as a DC source for electronic circuits. Hence, it is filtered out using a filter circuit. The output of a filter circuit has got some AC components in the DC voltage that is called a ripple. In order to reduce the ripple and to stabilize the magnitude of the DC output voltage, a voltage regulator is employed there. There are three types of diode rectifier circuits: half-wave rectifiers, full-wave rectifiers, and bridge rectifiers. Now let us look at the operation of each circuit in detail. First, half-wave rectifier. The circuit consists of a series connection of diode and a resistor. For better understanding the circuit, let us assume the diode to be ideal. During the positive half cycle of the input sine wave, the positive voltage will cause current to flow through the diode in forward direction. So if we replace this circuit by an equivalent circuit, shorting the diode indicating the diode is forward biased, then we get a circuit like this. Now the output voltage will be exactly equal to the input voltage for the positive half cycle. That is V0 is equal to Vi for first half cycle, that is positive half cycle. Okay. Now during negative half cycle, if input negative half cycle of the input voltage, the diode will not conduct. So the equivalent circuit will be like this. It will be an open circuit. So the output voltage will be 0. So thus half-wave rectifier circuit gives an output which is unidirectional. So if you observe that the output voltage V0 is equal to Vi for Vi greater than 0 and V0 is equal to 0 for Vi less than 0. That is, when Vi less than 0, the diode will not conduct. So the output is 0 here, and when Vi is greater than 0, the output voltage is exactly equal to the input voltage. Now on considering this expression, if we try to plot a transfer characteristic curve, a transfer characteristic curve is plotted between the output voltage and the input voltage. So consider this curve. So on the x-axis you have the input voltage and y-axis you have the output voltage. So see here, for values of Vi greater than 0, the output voltage is equal to the input voltage. So the slope is exactly equal to 1 here. The output voltage follows the input. Now for the values of Vi less than 0, the output voltage is equal to 0 here. So this is the transfer characteristics of an ideal of a half-wave rectifier employing an ideal diode. Okay. Now let us consider the operation of half-wave rectifier circuit by employing a practical diode. Consider this multisim simulation circuit where the diode used is 1N4001 and the input voltage is 230 volt RMS 50 Hz main supply, and for convenient and the simulation purpose, the transformer used here is 1:100 turns ratio transformer. So the voltage at the secondary of the transformer is 2.3 volt RMS, which is almost equal to, you will get 3.3 volt or 3.2 volt as a peak value. Okay. Now if you observe what happens in the circuit, now what is the reason for this difference in the input voltage and the output voltage? So for the positive half cycle, the diode conducts, so the output follows the input, and for the negative half cycle, the output is 0. Now what is this difference? Let us have a look at the output waveform in an oscilloscope, which you would have used in laboratory. So you can observe here there is a difference here. Now let us try to measure what is this difference. So let us take the maximum value, that is the peak value of channel 1 and peak value in channel 2 also. So the measurement says that the peak value of the input is 3.25 as I mentioned, but the peak value of the output is 2.55. The difference is exactly 0.7. Yes, it is due to the silicon diode. When the diode is in conduction, the drop across the diode is 0.7. So during the forward bias condition, the output voltage is 0.7 volt less than the input voltage. When during negative half cycle, the output voltage is equal to 0. So this is the difference between the input and the output voltage which we have observed in the simulation. And in practical case also, this will be observed in hardware also. The difference is 0.7 volt due to the silicon diode. So the drop across the diode when the diode is in conduction is 0.7. So output voltage will be equal to Vin minus 0.7. Now how to plot the transfer characteristics for this rectifier circuit. So if the output voltage is 0.7 volt less than the input voltage, then it is plotted like this. So the diode will not conduct up to 0.7 volt. So Vd is the diode voltage which is equal to 0.7. So this value is 0.7. So up to 0.7, the diode is not in forward bias condition, and only when Vin is greater than 0.7 volt, the diode or the output voltage follows the input voltage. The slope is equal to 1, the curve slope. And for values less than 0.7, the output voltage is equal to 0. Now, how to find the average value or the average DC value of the rectified output? So we know that the output waveform utilizes only one half cycle of the input waveform. So we can calculate it by the area under the curve. So that is equal to the average DC value is equal to 1 by 2 pi integral. The limit is from 0 to pi, because the output is for pi cycle only, for 180 degrees only. So 0 to pi Vm sin omega t or Vp sin omega t. If we integrate this, we'll end up with an expression Vp divided by pi. So this is the average value of a half wave rectifier. Now if you look at the output for the negative half cycle, you're not getting the output. Now if you want to find what is the frequency of the signal, the output frequency is the same as that of the input frequency, because the one cycle, so in the output is up to this. So this is one cycle in your output waveform. So this is exactly same as the input cycle also. So input cycle is this. So the frequency of the output waveform is exactly same as the input frequency. Now the most important specification which we need to know while choosing a diode for rectification application is the peak inverse voltage. Now how to find a peak inverse voltage of this particular diode? So to have a more clarity on what a peak inverse voltage is, how to measure the peak inverse voltage, let us simulate the same circuit under a different condition. Let us see what peak inverse voltage is. So consider this circuit for measuring the peak inverse voltage. Now with the help of an AC signal, it is not possible to measure the peak inverse voltage through any meters. So for the sake of simulation, for better understanding, I have replaced the AC signal by a DC signal here. So just to understand what peak inverse voltage is. Now here this is negative, so this voltage is negative, so the diode here is reverse biased here. Now when the diode is reverse biased, obviously there is no output at the load. Now what is the drop across this diode? So this drop the diode has to withstand without damaging the junction. So that is the peak inverse voltage. Let me measure the voltage across the diode using a multimeter. So this shows the applied voltage minus 12 volt here. So when the diode is not in conduction, the drop across the two terminals of the diode is exactly equal to the applied reverse voltage. So the peak inverse voltage of the diode in a half wave rectifier is equal to the peak value of the input signal, that is the negative peak, which is equal to V peak here. Okay. Next, let us discuss about full wave rectifiers. Full wave rectifier utilizes both halves of the input sine wave. It provides an output for the negative half of the waveform also. So if you look at the transformer here, is a center tap transformer which provides equal voltages across the two halves of the secondary winding with the polarities like this, that is plus minus, and here also it's plus and minus. Now due to this polarity, for the positive half cycle, diode D1, the anode of the diode D1 will be positive and the anode of diode D2 will be negative. So due to which only diode D1 will be in conduction and D2 will be cut off. So now if you look at the output current or the load current will take a path like this. So the output will be exactly same as the input half cycle, that is positive half cycle. Okay. Now during the negative half cycle, diode D1 becomes reverse biased and diode D2 becomes forward biased due to the polarity here. Now so for the negative half cycle, you get this is polarity, the voltage is positive. So the current, if you look at the current direction at the across the through the diode R, the current direction will be same as the previous case. So the output will be another positive half cycle here. So it gives or it rectifies both the half cycles of the input waveform. So let us just observe this in the simulation and then we'll come back to the presentation. So here two diodes are used, 1 and 4W01 and diode 2 is also 1 and 4W01. Now let us see the output waveform. So you can find that for both the half cycles, the diode output or the circuit output is positive. So it is again unidirectional. Now, if you look at the difference between the input and output waveform, so the same measurement here, the channel 1 indicates the input, so the peak is 3.25 volt, and the peak of your output is 2.55. Again, the difference is 0.7. This is because only one diode is in conduction during every half cycle, so the drop across the diode is 0.7 volt. Let us observe the transfer characteristics of full wave rectifier. So you can observe that this is the transfer characteristics of half wave rectifier, which we have seen earlier, and this is for the negative half cycle. When the input is negative, the output voltage, the slope of the output voltage is negative. That is, output voltage is still positive. So that is being indicated by this curve. So this is the curve which we observed in the simulation also. There is a difference of 0.7 volt here, and the solid sine wave indicates the output at the secondary, one of the secondary, or the waveform at one of the secondary, whereas the dotted sine wave indicates the waveform at the other secondary. So for both these waveforms, the output voltage is positive because the current direction through the resistor is in the same direction, so the output voltage is positive. So this is what we observed in the transfer curve also. So the output voltage is 0.7 volt less than the input voltage, and the transfer characteristic shows that this is 0.7 volt for the diode 2, and this is 0.7 volt for diode 1, and the rest is positive. So in both the cases, output voltage is positive. Now, if you look at the average value or the DC value of the output here, since you get both the half cycles being rectified, so the average DC value is equal to twice that of the half wave rectifier, that is 2 into Vp divided by 5. The frequency of the full wave rectifier output is double that of the input frequency. That is obvious from the curve that is being shown here. Now, what is the peak inverse voltage of a full wave rectifier circuit, especially in center tap transformer? Now, in center tap transformer, consider that D1 is in conduction and D2 is not in conduction. So once when the D1 is in conduction, the potential at this point or the potential at the output this point will be equal to V peak value. Okay. Now this diode is not, D2 is not in conduction, so we are going to find what is the drop across D2 when this is not in conduction. So this potential, the cathode potential is Vp, and the anode potential of diode D2 is negative, so this is minus Vp. So the peak inverse voltage will be equal to Vp minus of minus Vp. So the potential across the diode will be equal to twice that of the peak value. So in a center tap to full wave rectifier, the drop across the diode will be twice that of the peak value. So while designing a full wave rectifier, that especially a center tap to full wave rectifier, we should be cautious in choosing the diode because twice the peak value appears across the diode when the diode is not in conduction. An alternative implementation of full wave rectifier is bridge rectifier. It is named because of the configuration that is similar to that of a Wheatstone bridge here. It does not require a center tap transformer, which is considered as the advantage of this circuit. But on the other side, it uses 4 diodes here. If you look at the operation of the bridge rectifier, 2 diodes will be in conduction for every half cycle. For positive half cycle, diodes D1 and D2 conduct, so the output will be a positive half cycle. And for negative half cycle, diodes D3 and D4 conduct, and the output is again a positive half cycle. This is because the current through the load will be in the same direction in both the cases. Let us look at the output waveform in simulation. So this is a bridge rectifier circuit. So if you simulate this, you can observe that both the half cycles are rectified. So you get a positive half cycle for both positive as well as negative half cycles of the input waveform. Now you can observe here that there is a large difference between the input signal and the output signal. Let us see what is this difference actually. If you look at the difference, this is 3.2 and this 1.9, so the difference is almost 1.3 volt. So why is this large difference seen between the input waveform and the output waveform? The reason is, as I mentioned, two diodes will be in conduction for every half cycle. So if one diode has got a drop of 0.7 volt, so both the diodes will contribute to a drop of 1.4 volt less than the input signals. So this is the difference we observed in simulation. That is, so the output voltage is equal to Vin minus 1.4 volt. This 1.4 volt difference is due to the conduction of two diodes for every half cycle. So the diode drop of 0.7 drops for each diode. So approximately 1.4 will be dropped across both the diodes. Now the average DC value is exactly same as a full wave rectifier, even if you compute this. So that will be equal to 2 into Vp divided by 5. Now what is the peak inverse voltage of a diode in bridge rectifier? Now we know that two diodes will not be in conduction and only two diodes will be in conduction for every half cycles. So there are two diodes which are turned off, D4 and D3. Now let us try to find what is the peak inverse voltage across these two diodes. Okay. Now the potential at this point of the diode, that is cathode of this diode, is at the peak value of the signal. So this is Vp, and the anode of the diode is at zero potential. So this is at zero. So what is the drop across these two terminals, or the potential difference between these two terminals? It will be the peak value, that is Vp. Okay. Now let us analyze this diode. This diode, the anode here, the cathode here is at Vp potential, that is the peak value of the sine wave, whereas the anode is at zero potential here. So since this diode is in conduction, this will be at zero potential. So now the potential difference across these 2 points will again be Vp. So in bridge rectifier, the peak inverse voltage across the diode, or the drop across the diode when the diode is not in conduction, is equal to Vp. This is considered as one of the advantage when compared to the full wave rectifier, because in full wave rectifier, twice the value of peak value will appear across the diode. So here only V peak will appear across the diode, and the transfer characteristics will be the same. So this indicates that even though the input is positive as well as the input is negative, the output voltage is in both the cases it is equal to is positive. Another non-linear application of diodes are clippers. Clippers or limiters are widely used in signal processing applications. They are also used in clipping excessive noise spikes in FM transmitters, and even in protection of devices from transients. Clippers are circuits that clip away the portion of an input signal without damaging the remaining part of the applied waveform. If the input exceeds upper threshold, the output voltage is limited to upper level or upper limiting level. And on the other hand, if the input is reduced below a threshold, then the output is limited to the lower limiting level. So this is a general transfer characteristics of a limiter circuit, which works on both positive as well as the negative peaks of the waveform. So such type of clippers are called as double clippers or double limiters. So you can see that both the halves of the waveform are clipped off here. So this being the general characteristics, clippers can be of double clippers, or it can be of single clippers or single limiters also. Depending on the orientation of the diode, positive or negative region of the applied signal is clipped off. There are two general categories of clippers based on the orientation of the diode. One is series clipper and the other one is parallel clipper. In series configuration, diode is connected in series with the load, whereas in parallel configuration, diode is connected in parallel with the load. The simplest form of diode clipper circuit is a half wave rectifier circuit, which we have already discussed earlier. So, figure A shows a negative series clipper. It is a normal half-wave rectifier circuit. This completely clips off the negative portion of the waveform, so it is called as negative series clipper. The circuit B is a half-wave rectifier where the diode direction is reversed here. So this completely clips off the positive portion of the waveform, and so that is why this clipper circuit is called as positive series clipper. This circuit is much similar to that of a half-wave rectifier, except that the output is taken across the diode. Let us analyze this circuit for a sine wave. So for the positive half cycle of the sine wave, when the input voltage exceeds 0.7, the diode turns on and the voltage drop across the diode is 0.7. So the output voltage is limited to the diode drop, that is 0.7. So when the diode is forward biased, now during the negative half cycle, that is when the input voltage is less than 0.7, the diode is said to be cut off. So in that case, the diode is open circuit, so no current flows through the circuit. So thus the output voltage is exactly equal to the input voltage in this case. So if you plot a transfer characteristics between the input voltage and the output voltage, then for the positive values of input voltage, that is above 0.7, the diode conducts, so the drop across the diode will be exactly equal to 0.7 volt. That is when the diode is in under conduction. Then if under the reverse bias condition, that is for the negative values of the input voltage, the diode is open circuit, so the output voltage will be exactly equal to the input voltage. So this is what is shown in the transfer characteristic curve. So in simulation, 100 Hz 10 volt sine wave is given, 10 volt peak sine wave is given. So we observe at the output voltage, you can observe that the output voltage is clipped for the positive half cycle here, and this is 0.7 volt, and the negative half cycle, it has not been affected. And the transfer curve is exactly same as what we have discussed. Next circuit. This is similar to the previous, except that the diode is reversed here. So for Vi greater than 0.7 volt, the diode is cut off and the output voltage V0 equal to Vi. When Vi is less than 0.7 volt, the diode is forward biased and limits the output voltage to the diode drop of 0.7 volt. So if we plot a transfer characteristic curve, then this shows that the output voltage is equal to the input voltage for positive values of the input, and that is equal to 0.7 volt for the negative values of the input. On combining these two circuits, that is by placing two diodes of opposite polarity in parallel, a double limiting circuits can be implemented. So in this case, the output is limited to 0.7 volt and plus 0.7 volt and minus 0.7 volt. So the transfer curve will be exactly like this. You can observe from the previous explanations also. So from the previous two transfer curves, when you combine those two, you end up with a transfer curve like this, where the output voltage will be limited between plus 0.7 volt and minus 0.7 volt. So this is due to diode D1 and this is due to diode D2. Now the saturation level or the limiting levels, that is this saturation level or the limiting levels, can be controlled by connecting diode in series with a DC voltage. Now this type of circuits are called as biased clippers. So consider the circuit that is shown here. So here the diode cathode is at plus 5 volt potential. So in order for the diode to conduct, anode potential should be more than this, that is 5 volt plus the 0.7 volt barrier potential. So when input voltage is less than 5.7 volt, the diode is at cutoff and V0 is equal to Vi. Now when the input voltage is greater than 5.7 volt, then in that case the diode will be forward biased and the output voltage will be 5 volt plus the 0.7 volt drop across the diode, so that will be equal to 5.7. So if we plot a transfer characteristic curve, this shows that for the positive half cycle of the input sine wave, when the input is less than 5.7 volt, the output the diode is cut off and it completely follows the input signal. And once when the input voltage is greater than 5.7 volt, then the diode turns on and the output voltage is limited to 5.7 volt after that. So let us observe the waveform in the simulation. So if you observe the output, so you can see that the output is exactly clipped at 5.7 volt and the negative portion of the 5.7, okay, let me keep it here. So it is 5.731 and the negative half cycle is undisturbed. And if you look at the transfer curve of this, it is exactly how we discussed. So this is a 5.7 volt limit and for remaining portion it is unaltered. Next application of diode for discussion is clamper. Clampers are popularly used in transmitters, receiver circuits of communication devices and also in test equipments. Clamper shifts the waveform to a DC level without changing the shape of the signal. In short, they add a DC level to an AC level. So that is why they are also called as DC restorers or level shifters. The circuit consists of a capacitor connected between the input and the output terminals, and diode is connected in parallel to the load. Let us discuss the operation of this circuit by considering an input square wave with arbitrary values of -6 volt and +4 volt. Now the operation of the circuit is better understood by first considering the negative half cycle of the input. So consider the input is negative half cycle, that is -6 volt. When the input voltage initially goes negative, the diode is forward biased, allowing the capacitor to charge to the peak value. Here the capacitor will charge to the value of 6 volt with the polarity indicated in the circuit. This is being positive and this is negative. This positive potential makes the diode reverse biased. Okay. Now before that, the capacitor voltage is 6 volt and the output voltage of the diode will be either 0 or for a silicon diode it is 0.7 volt drop. Okay. Now this voltage that is charged to the capacitor makes the diode reverse biased. So for the next subsequently for the next positive half cycle, the diode turns off because of the cathode potential and the capacitor retains the voltage because there is no path for the capacitor to discharge. Now the output voltage is given by V0 equal to Vi plus Vc. So that is equal to 4 volt plus 6 volt, that is equal to 10 volt. So now the output waveform will be identical to that of the input except that it is shifted upwards with voltage levels of 0 and plus 10 volt. The output waveform will have its lowest peak clamped to 0 volt, so that is why the circuit is called as a clamper, or sometimes it is also called as clamped capacitor. So these are negative clampers where you can see that the diode direction is reversed here. The output, you can see that the entire waveform is shifted below ground level or the reference level. So they are called as negative clampers. You can observe that there is a load resistor connected in the circuit here. So what is the effect of connecting a load resistor to the circuit? When a load resistance R is connected across the diode, there is a significant effect on the output waveform. While the output is above ground, a current must flow in the resistor. Since at this time the diode is off, the current obviously comes from the capacitor, so thus causing the capacitor to discharge. So the output waveform will fall like this. So you can observe these shapes in the output waveform due to the discharging of the capacitor. Now, in order to avoid this in the waveform, the resistor and capacitor must be chosen such that time constant RC is sufficiently large enough to ensure that the voltage across the capacitor does not discharge when the diode is non-conducting. So with this, we complete the applications of diodes. Thank you.